Okay, so I was not guilty in the back of the Montgomery County Jail in Conroe, Texas, and I'm pregnant, and I was pregnant in the jail. And my son was also attacked by his white Caucasian father. And instead of black men coming out and just deciding they was going to help me back there with the white people being racist, they decided, the black Freemasons, that they was going to be Freemasons and be doing witchcraft, and decide they was going to get me, torture me for the white people in jail. And then when I was released, they decided they was going to help cover it up and take advantage of me and my son and be, having sex with me and trying to cover it up. So the point I'm trying to get to is now I'm very hungry. My stomach is extremely small. And they have tried to do whatever they could to try to keep me from putting out the evidence about my case, what they did, my house, what happened, and that I'm pregnant. So when I was showing my stomach, when I first got here, like I said, I had went and got groceries because I didn't have anywhere for me to put any groceries or anything. And I was showing my stomach. So when I was in the Wilcox at James Devon Harris' house, I was seeing how he was playing me, and I was like waking up crying about my son because my baby boy was looking for me in the spirit world. And then, of course, being pregnant, and James acknowledged that I was pregnant too. So I was like, okay, well, I'm about to start putting out the evidence. And he was like, no, don't do that, don't put out the evidence, I'm going to get you a lawyer. While he's sitting over there plotting on me and had already pulled out the gun on me at Beverly Raul's house. And then I remember I was calling lawyers, asking them would they represent me, and they was all telling me no, that Conroe should lock Austin up, because if they released me and he did all this to me, then they should just go ahead and reverse whatever they were trying to do to me and lock him up. So then Beverly Raul and them started conspiring to not bring me food, and when I asked for it, even if I had money, you know what I'm saying, and then put me up out of their home with my suitcase, and then having black men all swarming around me with my suitcase to pick me up and bring me into their homes. And she was conspiring for me, and James pulled the gun out on me when I was putting my camera on and showing, that they was over there trying to make me leave their house because I asked for a mattress, because they was trying to have me up in their house living there for a certain period of time, like with no bed, no mattress, like I'm just a burden to their ass. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that's a fucking like I'm all up in their space. You know what I'm saying? When I was living up in there, me and James was getting this place so that we could live together, because we were supposedly supposed to be getting engaged. So how you over there trying to play me like we was not, like I wasn't living there? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how they was trying to paint the situation or whatever, because we was supposed to be moving into the Wilcox, into an apartment, and they have been conspiring for me not to have an apartment for me and my kids, knowing that I already had an apartment for me and my children, and they over here trying to keep me from showing that I had my own apartment with my child, that, I was attacked in my home, and that I'm pregnant. So I didn't really know what all was going on, and Jesus Christ had came over me, and he started praying and saying that they had set very deadly traps for me, and he was praying for me in an ancient language and in tongues, and he was saying that they had set very deadly traps for me, and that I didn't know what they was, and he would not show me who the people were who was setting the traps for me. And I see why he didn't show it to me, because I'm already scared, but I would be like very scared, you know what I'm saying, with him showing me my entire country and all of the civilians, how wicked they really were, you know what I'm saying. But he just said they was gonna fall into the traps that they were setting for me, and he showed me that it was very deadly, that I was still gonna have to hide, you know what I'm saying, in order to get away, so Lord Jesus, just go help me. So anyway, so the black women decided that they was gonna be having me coming all up in these houses and giving the men temper food and helping the men. And God was telling me, when have women ever let you come up in their house? He was like, they over there plotting on you at Beverly Raul's house. When I was leaving Beverly Raul's or around Beverly Raul, he like, when have they ever, and Lily Morris, he was like, when have they ever brought you up in their house? And then he was showing Hispanic women was involved too. And then he was like, that's a setup. You coming up in the house with all these women up in the house, because at Beverly Raul's house, I came in the house, there was a bunch of women. Chardonnay, Keisha, Jada, Beverly Raul, and my stomach had started showing. And I had told James that I was pregnant, so they don't want no one to acknowledge that I'm pregnant. And when they got me up in their house and they could see that I'm pregnant and they see that I'm showing, then all of a sudden, they got to try to do some shit to me, or, try to do some shit to cover it up, because they don't want none of them confirming that I'm pregnant. So, I was wearing two-piece and everything, so they had to get me up out of Beverly Raul's house, and they wanted to do it when I didn't have no money. And then I had a vision, and I saw the rapper, Lil Baby, and he was trying to stand up for me. And they was all in the garage, and there was a bunch of black men covering up in the garage, because I had prayed to God. I was like, God, what do I need to do? Because James was in there trying to yell at me when I told him that the Illuminati did that to me in the back of the jail, that the most powerful people supposedly in the world, of the United States, was back there poisoning me and then lying about my case. And then he started, first he was acting like he was on my side, but when I told him that what they actually did to me, and I told him who it was who did it, because he was acting funny too, he all of a sudden, he started, why would they do that? Why would the most powerful people poison you? And I'm looking at this nigga like, he go to tell his mama, she was all passing out drunk on the floor. He go and tell his mama, what I said. And then his mama was like, his mama Beverly was over there talking about, he went in there and told her, she talking about the Illuminati did this, trying to tell my business and shit. And then I told this nigga, like, first of all, why would I even tell you if I want you to go around running your fucking mouth? Because at first I didn't know he was involved, because I didn't know that all these Americans was involved with this bullshit. And so then he was like, pulling out guns on me and telling me, cocking it. But anyway, so that's beside the point. My main thing was when I got in LaMarcus Sanders in the house. So anyway, the vision that I had, because I prayed and I told James, I was like, James, you acting real evil. And I was like, I'm about to, and then I asked him to bring me some McDonald's. And then his mama was getting mad if he'll bring me some McDonald's. And her and Jada was over there trying to give me liquor and trying to get me to drink liquor. And I didn't tell them I was pregnant at first. I didn't tell Beverly or Jada. Because I didn't want her thinking, she finna have a baby in my house and all that. And they over there cutting off her water up in her house while I was taking baths and starting to dilate, and something was wrong with the water. So when I noticed that they was trying to get me to drink liquor and stuff, I was like, they know, and they trying to kill this baby. I knew. And so I went on ahead and I stopped taking any of the food that Jada or Beverly was cooking for me. I was like, when they'll be like, I cooked you a this, I cooked you a steak, I cooked you a this, and I'll be like, nah, that's okay, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And I go up in there when there wasn't nobody in there, and I start cooking for myself something, because they were like, you can cook in there. Don't let James don't need to be bringing you this. He don't need to be catering to you, being evil. So I go in there and cook myself something. And then they went out to Popeyes one day, and they all was going and getting them something, and I had some money, and I had told James, I was calling them, and I was like, can you ask Beverly and Jada if they'll pick me up something from Popeyes too? And then they didn't want to answer, and they didn't want to bring me anything from Popeyes. And I didn't know that they was over there trying to keep me small and trying to keep people from knowing that I was pregnant. And then Jada was over there trying to make her son sick, so she could hand him over to the devil. And then Beverly Raul got her little 15-year-old boy up in the jail with them lying, trying to say he had COVID, keeping him in there to hand him over to the devil. And then they was in there trying to hand me over to him. And so anyway, and Dawn was saying that she had one of her daughters dead. Telling me one of her daughters, her little baby died, and then she had another one. And then she was over there saying she was pregnant. So here they go with black women over here trying to act like they pregnant around me, knowing that I was pregnant. And then he was staging altercation, James, to try to have black women on the phone. Because he was telling me he wanted to marry me, but he's over here talking all loud on the phone to another woman in my face after he just had sex with me all night long and told me he wanted to spend the rest of his life with me. And they were staging that shit so that I would get upset. And so that I'd be like, okay, you know what the hell going on. And his mama was calling these girls to stage this type of crap. And then they brought over, Keisha brought over a girl named Mickey. And they was over there, James was over there literally following up behind Mickey on purpose to try to get me to say something. And then when I just kind of let it go, Mickey had to did my hair and she was ripping out all my hair. And put my wig on so bad where it slid right off when I got in the shower. And I knew something was wrong with that. I was like, oh, they trying to have me looking bad and all that bullshit. And then when I was going up in the bathroom at Beverly Raul's home, she was having her little girls and her grandchildren come and knock on the door while I'll be in there for just 5 minutes to just try to get myself together. So they wanted me to look so goddamn bad. And I didn't know why every time I come out looking good, Beverly Raul looking at me like, oh, sick. She looking sick as hell, like mad because I look good that day. And then when they could catch me looking bad, she was trying to pull bullshit to have me outside on the street, but I still had some money. And when I had some money, then she had to call me back to make sure I didn't hardly have shit. And so, I asked God because James was being evil. I realized that him and his family was being very wicked. And I was like, James, I said, if you being evil, all I got to do is just pray to God about it, because he had actually started liking me. And we was, even though I was pregnant with him, I was still having sex with him, to the point where, that's like you damn near your wife. And you know that she pregnant because I told him. And I let him, feel the baby moving. And, I told him I was scared to tell you at first because of what they did to me in the jail. And I didn't think you would believe me because I've been pregnant so long. And he was telling me, oh, well, I'll help you get a lawyer and all of that. So I was laying back there in that room in Beverly Raul home on a little, a twin bunk bed. But it's like where they stacked on top of one another. And they didn't have no mattress on there. He had blankets piled up on top of the rails, and it was hurting me. And so we was looking for an apartment because Beverly was saying we only had a couple of weeks in her home, and they were trying to make it seem like they took me off the streets when James was over there plotting on me, and it was all the Americans was plotting on me, so I couldn't escort. Because that was keeping me from having to be sex trafficked by them and to be on the streets. Or up in their houses with them trying to start me in there with that bullshit. Because that's what they was doing in Collin House. They was trying to sex traffic me and get me to have sex. And then trying to keep me without food. And trying to turn their air conditioner down to 60. And put fans on me and all of that bullshit so they could try to lie and say that I had COVID. And then they was trying to have black women come over to fight me and stuff. So I needed to be on my own. So I decided I'll go ahead and start working as an escort. And posting ads if I have to. If they leave me out there that bad, then I'll just do that. Because I ain't finna be out here with them trying to deliberately give me AIDS and herpes and then turn around and have me arrested and killed. Knowing that I'm pregnant. And so I was showing up in her house and I couldn't suck it in. because I was eating. And then suddenly, it was hardly no food in the house. And when I asked James, when he would come home from his job, I was like, Jake, can you stop by McDonald's and grab me something? And he was bringing stuff from his job or whatever. And for some reason, I was tired of eating just the pieces he was bringing from his job. So I asked him, could he stop from McDonald's? And his homeboys and them was getting angry and didn't want to do it. That he was right away, and all the black men was involved, all of them. So they wouldn't do it. And then he come in like, oh, he angry at me because I don't understand why you couldn't stop by the McDonald's for a second. And then they was shutting out all the power and the water, like in the water in that part of the area. And then I had drove his mama car up the road to see if the power was shut out anywhere else, and it was only shut out around us. And I was like, damn, they over here plotting on me. And then Jehovah started thundering from heaven, loud as hell, and because she was trying to put me out of the house that day. And so I prayed about it. It was a lot more going on. I prayed about it, and I was like, and I'm gonna go into detail about that. And this is what they trying to stop me from working on, because I got the pictures, I got the videos, I got everything, and my stomach was damn near flat. So they steady trying to conspire to go through with this shit. This is why God said someone needs to come get me and my children up out of America. And so I had prayed to God, and I was like, God, please let me know if I could trust James, because he was showing James, I had a vision of James behind me, because he had been behind me having sex with me. Because I couldn't really lay on my stomach, and I did lay on my stomach like a time or two while he was having sex with me. And yeah, it felt good because, he was going slow and things like that. But when I was escorting, I had met a couple of guys, and they had brought me to this Airbnb apartment, and then they tried to hurt me so goddamn bad. And they was taking advantage of me. And I was like, you know what? I don't mind moving in with James, and getting an apartment, but he wasn't really trying to pay for the apartment. And then him and his brother was calling each other and scheming, and they were shutting down my rental car for me when I was looking for an apartment. And I had already paid the bill, and the rental company was trying to make me feel like something that the car had broke down, but they had cut it off. And James was up under me doing that bullshit, trying to figure out stuff, and black people would keep trying to come up under me and figure out how I was having my own income so they could do this old sinister bullshit to me. And so when I went up in this house, my car had broke down in his mama's neighborhood because James had lied and said he couldn't give me $100 to pay for it when we were supposed to be dating. I was paying for the room. I was buying him food. I was spending all my time and money with him. I was not escorting. And then he was lying and saying that he couldn't get the money out of his account, and he had the $600 in his account, and all I needed was $100. And I was like, yeah, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get back independent and just get away from him, since I'm seeing how he's behaving, and he wouldn't give me the money. He was telling me, oh, if you want to get your son, I'll help you, but you're gonna have to stop escorting. I'll bring you in my house or my mama's house, or I'll be out on the streets with you, and all of this shit, just lying to me because I didn't know how evil he really was. And then so God was showing me Jay in a prison uniform, and he had yellow eyes, and he was in the same position that he had been making love to me, because I braided his hair. I was in there braiding his hair and helping him look good, and all of that. And when he took me shopping to buy clothes, $200, because I had to get rid of all my stuff when I was finna have to leave from the girl Mickey trying to fight me. And I remember having a dream, and the Most High was like, the girl finna go try to fight you in the bathroom. I want you to come out of the bathroom in front of everybody. And if she try to fight you, I want you to clock her in the head and bust her head wide open, because she know you pregnant. And then he showed James, and James had another girl. And his little sister had came in and told me already. And that he was bringing me up in there playing me. And when the girl came into the bathroom, the other girl, black girl, Mickey, came in there, because she wasn't even the girl who he really was trying to talk to, but they were trying to set it up like that's what it was. So when she came in the bathroom while I was doing my makeup to try to fight me, I remember God had already told me while she was coming up in there trying to bother me, because they were trying to make me jealous, like to see if I'd fight her over James, and then or trying to stage some disturbance stuff to try to make it seem like I would be the one causing the disturbance in the home. So she came in the bathroom and I was like, excuse me. I was like, someone's in here. And mind you, I would have to wait for his sisters to they was going in there for a long time. His sisters were going in there, and that's their house, but they was going in there doing what they had to do. So as soon as I could see an opportunity for me to go in the bathroom and do something for myself, I would go in there and do it. So I was in there trying to hurry up and keep myself together. And she came in there rolling a blunt. And I was in there with my little two-piece outfit on. Like I started modeling because God had told me, Andrea, you're going to be modeling when you get up out of here. You so tiny. I want you to go to Forever 21. I want you to buy your stuff in a large. But I didn't. At first I bought it in a medium, but then I went back and started buying my stuff in a large from all the other stores. He was like, you so tiny that you can go and buy a large, and I want you to start modeling. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that he told me to, because I got all the pictures of how I really look from my modeling portfolio up in their houses while I was working on my modeling portfolio. And they over here trying to pay me out to be a street prostitute and try to deliberately force me to be out there to have to fuck for money. So, and I got that evidence. And they don't want me to show. So, anyway... So the girl come up in there rolling a blunt, and she sit down on the toilet. I was like, excuse me, somebody is in here. Because she just walked up in there. And then they'll try to make it seem like, oh, I spend all my time in the bathroom or the shower, whatever. Anytime I do something for myself, they over there, oh, she always doing this. She always in the bathroom shower, because they was being evil. And then so she was like, she didn't say nothing. She just stood right there like looking at me like, you know, like she was ready to fight me. And then I was like, you know, I said that I'm in here. You could have waited until I was done with whatever I'm doing in the restroom. And then you could come in the restroom and do whatever it is you need to do. And I had to talk to her like she was a 2-year-old child. Because she was still sitting there like she was stupid, like she was stuck on dumb. And she wasn't saying anything. And then so I was like, you know what? I don't need to be in here with you alone by myself. And then I walked out the restroom because I remember what God showed me that they was trying to do. And then so she admitted to me later on that Beverly Raul told her to come up in the bathroom and do that. That it wasn't her. That she told her to come up in there trying to start some shit with me in the bathroom. And so I was like, cool. I see what's going on. And so then I had prayed to God about James, because I had a vision of him while I was asleep, and James was up behind me, but he had on like a prison uniform. Like he was really an inmate or going to jail, or something was going on with him. And I woke up like, why the hell is, you know what I'm saying, he in a prison uniform or whatever. And then he was telling me he used to be in church, and he used to be a pastor, and he used to almost have a record deal. And then I could sense the jealousy, like, okay, yeah, you know I'm working on my music. You was going to work just fine, not talking about you used to work on music, but all of a sudden you got to try to put that in my face because I do music. And then you got to try to put that in my face that you used to be in the church. Okay, well, you not doing music anymore, and you not up in the church anymore. So why you steady trying to persecute me because of what you left the church about? Because they see I read my Bible and I listen to Joel Osteen, but I don't listen to him anymore because Joel Osteen know what's going on too, and I'm not finna listen to none of the pastors either. So I'm not listening to them. And so basically I was telling them what they had did to me, and they started all going around keeping their headphones on and started, yeah, da 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 da, acting like they listening to music all loud to keep from hearing me talking about my case and my son and my pregnancy and what's going on. So they all decided they was going to put their headphones on and be ignoring me. And then singing all loud and all of that crap. And then so I'll be listening to Aaliyah, and I'll be in there singing in the shower or whatever. And they was all trying to mock me and be on some BS. And then I was asking James if he would do some percussion for one of my songs. And he was like, yeah. So I was letting him hear my music. And so when I was at LaMarcus and Lily Moore's house, they decided that they was going to try to plan to keep me from being able to go to the studio and do any music, and then have me out on the streets trying to get people to know that I'm doing music like some crackhead on the streets that do music, because they know I actually do sound good, and I actually, can have people, interested. I don't know. But anyway, because they so damn demonic. So let me go back to the part about Beverly Raul. So I prayed about it. I was like, God, I was like, James, I was like, I can ask God about you and he'll let me know. Because there was women, grown ass women, coming over there trying to bring their little girls to flaunt their children in front of James. And I was like, in the neighborhood, and they was all staging altercations like shootings and all of this stuff in the neighborhood, and Jane going out with the gun, and it was just too much bullshit. And I was like, they having too, and they was outside shooting, calling my name, Chanel, outside of his window, the dudes in the neighborhood, and because I was going by the name Chanel and not Andrea Jones, because it was not safe for me to go by Andrea Jones. But now when I see people trying to erase my whole identity and call me a fraud, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go by Andrea Jones, because they all know who I am anyway, and they just calling me Chanel. So I'm gonna just start going by Andrea Jones, because you're not finna plot on Andrea Jones and then have me murdered and killed. Fuck that, I'm Andrea Jones. So they was calling me Chanel, and they was outside shooting and calling my name and playing song, oh Chanel this, Chanel that, and wanting to have sex with me, but trying to make it seem like they like me, but really trying to set me up. And then I was poking in my stomach. Everybody would always watch me in my little cute two-piece outfit walking by, and everybody knew I was pregnant, and I didn't tell none of that. So they was already plotting when they brought me there. James was the only one who I told. And we was operating like we husband, wife, everything, so his mama was saying we had a certain amount of time, and I was over there looking for apartments and everything, and I be having to lie down, I can't get up over here like, you gonna have to find you another hustle and everything. Why don't you just start escorting from my house? And I was like, hell no, because that's dangerous, and I'm not finna be doing that, around nobody's house. And then I started working on my lip line, and I remember how successful Kylie Jenner lip line was. So I was like, okay, let me get some ideas from her, because, she went over there getting all these fucking big lip shots and everything, to mimic black women lips. And, then I got some big old juicy lips, and I love lip gloss. So I want to create my own lip line, and that's what I started working on. And I created a business structure to where I could create a multi-million-dollar lip line for $300. But I would have to build off of it, because I'm over here trying to sell Mary Kay and all of this bullshit when they didn't even have the type of makeup that I wanted. Even Kylie Jenner didn't have the ideas of the type of makeup that I wanted. I had came up with my own mixtures of different type of lip gloss and stuff that I wanted to make, and I was going to make them for myself. And James didn't have the money to give me, and I wasn't going to prostitute myself for the money. So I just created the business structures, and when I was at LaMarcus Sanders' house, I bought the stuff. I finally got the $300 from him, and then I bought all the stuff that I needed, and none of my stuff was similar to Kylie's. And the name of my line was Black Chanel. And everything was going to be structured off of the women of God from the Bible. And I was going to name each lip gloss after a woman from the Bible who inspired me. So I was going to have a color named Rachel, a color named Leah, a color named Sarah, a color named Esther. And all the colors was the colors of the cities where they lived. So the colors of Egypt, I was going to have them with gold, and the colors of Jerusalem with turquoise. And, this was my idea. And then it had nothing to do with that demonic ass Kardashian family. Because none of my colors was demonic. And then I was going to put a card in there to tell the story of Sarah and the story of Leah. And it was going to be part of my collection. But it was called Black Chanel. And I forget, because they done made me have to forget so much. But I ordered everything, and when the lip gloss bottles did not come. So everything else came, and when I was going to be in there mixing up the mixtures and stuff, the lip gloss bottles, they took them. And I was getting angry because I realized what was going on. They over here trying to keep me from having income because I was going to get on my little Facebook, Instagram, all that, and start marketing my lip gloss line. And then I had got a vision from God showing that somebody had either not sent the lip gloss bottles on purpose or they stole them out of the mail. And then it said blessing on it. Blessing. That he had a blessing for me because they did that. And so I had prayed to God about James. And you got a room. But I had prayed, hold on, what time is it? It's 5:20 a.m. And I had prayed to God about James to see what was going on with James. And he showed me a vision because I told James, I said, James, please do not make me have to ask God about you. And he was like, well, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. And they was over there being evil. And I had seen these grown women come and bringing their children, flaunting their kids in front of Jane like that. Like she wanted to give her daughter to him. And like she was jealous of me. Because the woman didn't have nothing on me. And she was bringing her little girls, dressing them up like whores. And then the little girls was coming all over while I was on the porch with Jane, all bending over and trying to like seduce. And I'm like, these are children. Why the hell is she bringing her little daughters around to try to seduce a grown-ass man that's engaged to me with her little girls? And I knew something is wrong with these people. And then I had seen the vision, and God was like, y'all need to go out there in front of them. If he gonna stand by your side, he needs to stand by your side and let people know he don't give a damn what they gonna say about him being with Andrea. But if he gonna sell an app with everybody else, God said he gonna fall. So that showed me that they did have a choice. I know they had a choice. They didn't have to do this to me. They chose to. And then so I prayed. I said, James, I said, all I got to do is ask God. Because his mama last name is Jones like mine. And we call by Jehovah's name. It say in the Bible, Jones, you look up the meaning of Jones in any meaning, and it means favored by Jehovah. And then God word, it say, my people who are called by my name. Beverly Raul was born in Cook County. She was just like me. So, and we probably got the same bloodline.